Welcome to the Lions Terrace Ministry. This is Reverend Liz Jackson. Today's sermon is True Word of Yah, Why Animals Are Dying Everywhere. This is a Hosea 4:1-6 Bible study. This sermon is going to explain why so many birds, land animals, and ocean creatures are dying in every nation. We must start accepting that judgment is being passed on the earth and that the prophecies of the day of the Lord, Abba Yah, are coming into reality. Hosea 4 is about now because of what is going on in our oceans and the air with the birds and the dying off of land animals. This massive amount of deaths during a small time frame has never occurred in all of history at the same time. Again, I don't believe in evolution or in the ice ages and so on and so forth. I don't believe in anything mainstream, whatever, is trying to sell you. Again, Abba Yah is the sole creator who made everything, and by his words, things are occurring that atheists and lukewarm believers are pushing as climate change. There is no climate change, only Abba Yah fulfilling his prophecies. We're going to take a look at what words mean in Hebrew, as well as what's happening in the world around us regarding this prophecy. So let's read Hosea 4:1-6. And this is the King James Version. Hear the word of the Lord, you children of Israel, for the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwells there within shall languish with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man strive, nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priest. Therefore shall thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt not be a priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. So we're going to look at some of these words in the first verses 1-3 and break them down because they are very, very important. We're going to start with the word controversy. Controversy is Hebrew word H7379, and it means a chiding. The definition of chide by Merriam-Webster, used as an intransitive verb, means to speak out in angry or displeased rebuke. As a transitive verb, it means to voice disapproval to. So the Lord God is talking to the entire world, because the entire world is Israel. Those who believe in the true word of Abba Yah take on the name Israel. Those who are still under the law of sin and death take on the name Gentile. And it is up to Israel to shine the light onto the Gentiles. But the entire world, every soul belongs to the Lord God Almighty. So every soul is Israel. You have to understand that. Israel is not just a little sliver of a nation over in the Middle East. Israel is all who come to the name of the Lord God Almighty. But again, in this instance, The Lord God is talking about the entire earth. And how do we know that? Because we're going to learn that in the next couple words that we break down. Inhabitants means, by implication, to dwell, to have habitation, to inhabit. The definition of inhabit means one that occupies a particular place regularly, routinely, or for a period of time. The term land is Hebrew word H776, and it means the earth at large. That biblical outline of usage of Hebrew word H776 for land means the whole earth. And that is how we know that the context in which Abba Yah, the Lord God Almighty, is talking about Israel in applies to the whole earth. You cannot keep taking words out of context. When you do, you are blaspheming the true word of Abba Yah. The next word is mourn. Mourning means to lament or mourn. The definition of lament by Merriam-Webster means to mourn aloud. Sometimes people wail. Transitive verb means to express sorrow, mourning, or regret, or often demonstratively, to regret solemnly. The next term is therein shall languish. That is Hebrew word H535, and it means by implication to be sick or mourn, languish, to be weak, or wax feeble. So Abba Yah told me to look up the meaning of feeble, and it means marked lacking in strength, a feeble old man. It means indication of weakness, deficiency in qualities or resources that indicate vigor, authority, force, or efficiency, inadequate or inferior. So again, back to the verse, we now understand that the Lord God is angry with the inhabitants of the entire earth because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Him in the entire earth. And therefore, He says, the entire earth shall mourn, and everyone here shall languish, shall become weak. We see a lot of weakness in people. People just want to fight, kill, and destroy. That's not strength. Anybody can cause riots and destruction. Strength comes whenever you have self-control and you do not do the things you wish you ought to do. That is true strength. When you exhibit forgiveness for people who do not deserve it, that is strength. When you can sit and keep your mouth shut without speaking hateful things, even though you may be thinking it, that is strength. Whenever you band together and you have peaceful discussions and protests and you agree to disagree, that is strength. The term beasts is Hebrew word H2416, and it means those alive, raw flesh, plant, also water. He said the beast of the field. So of the field means land, plain, or land opposed to sea. So he's not talking about the beasts of the sea in this instance. He's talking about the beasts of the land. He also said everyone will languish with the fowls, and fowls here means birds. Of heaven means of the sky. So we know that he's talking about the birds in the air. And then the next term is the fishes, and that's Hebrew word H1709, and it means fish. It means, a fish, squirmy, movie fish. And of the sea means a sea. So it can mean the Mediterranean Sea, a large river, an artificial basin. It can mean a large body of water, like your oceans. The next term we're going to look at also shall be taken away is Hebrew word H622, and it means to remove, consume, and destroy. So let's go back to Hosea. Let me scroll back up there. So the word of the Lord states, I have a controversy with the world, all those who dwell in the earth, because there's no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. Therefore the land will cry, and everyone that dwells therein shall be weak with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven, and yea, the fishes of the sea shall also be taken away or destroyed. And we see this occurring today. So let me scroll back down so I can read you some articles. Massive die-off of birds in the Southwest. And this is by The Guardian, published on December 26th of 2020. Flycatchers, swallows, and warblers are among the migratory birds falling out of the sky in September, with carcasses found in New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, Arizona, and Nebraska. A USGS National Wildlife Health Center necropsy has found 80% of specimens showed typical signs of starvation. Muscles controlling the bird's wings were severely shrunken. Blood was found in their intestinal tract, and they had kidney failure, as well as an overall loss of body fat. The remaining 20% were not in good enough condition to carry out proper tests. Nearly 10,000 birds were reported to the Wildlife Mortality Database by citizens, and previous estimates suggest hundreds of thousands may have died. Concerns were raised about wildfires in California causing birds to reroute their migration inland over the Chihuahuan Desert, but necropsies show no smoke damage in their lungs. The center also ran tests for contagious bacterial and viral disease, parasites, and evidence of pesticide poisoning, all which came back negative. So why are birds starving to death? Well, the Lord God Almighty just said that humans and everything living on the earth were going to become weak. Starvation makes you weak. Massive die-off of marine life in Russia. Oh, and read the rest of Hosea if you don't believe me. It's about the coming of the day of the Lord. I'm just saying. Hosea 4:1-6 was the main point, but the rest of it talks about the day of the Lord, and his day is approaching, which is why it's very, 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 very important for you to understand Bible prophecies and when and how they apply to life now. Some have already occurred, but Hosea chapter 4:1-6 is now. Next, we move to massive die-off of marine life in Russia. And this is from ABC News, published on October 10th of 2020. Russian scientists are struggling to determine the reason for a mysterious mass die-off of marine life on the Russian Pacific coast. Russia officials have so far insisted that the damage could not be human-induced, but no final explanation has been offered. Photos of thousands of dead sea creatures on a beach in Kamchatka, a peninsula across the ocean from Alaska, went viral in the beginning of October. The pictures showed stretches of the Kalakrisky Beach, a popular surfing destination, covered in dead octopi, mussels, crabs, sea urchins, and other sea animals. Data released by Russian environmental officials earlier this week showed excess amounts of phosphate iron and phenol in the area where the poisoned animals were found. The source of the pollution remains unidentified and is labeled an enigma. So, again, no one wants to attribute Hosea 4:1-6 to what's happening in the world. They would rather leave it an enigma, because then they would have to properly and formally state that yes, there is a God and creator. So why would mainstream anything do that? They wouldn't, and they're the ones that's going to be judged harsher than those who are, lukewarm. Mass animal die-offs in Australia. This is by Wired, published January 21st, 2020. Unfolding right now across swaths of Australia is an ecological catastrophe as massive turbocharged fires reduce whole landscapes to nothingness. Tens of thousands of koalas had no way of escaping. Livestock lie dead in fields. Innumerable animals have perished, with many species likely pushed to extinction. The few survivors could, starve or fall victim to predators. We'll never know the true toll of this mass mortality event, or MME as scientists call it, but we know this: the cadavers that litter the Australian landscape are now rotting, kicking off a cascade of ecological consequences and potentially imperiling human health. Elephants dead in Botswana. The Guardian, published on July 2020. More than 350 elephants have died in northern Botswana in a mysterious mass die-off described by scientists as a conservation disaster. A cluster of elephant deaths was first reported in the Okavango Delta in early May, with 169 individuals dead by the end of the month. By mid-June, the number had more than doubled, with 70% of the death clusters around waterholes, according to local sources who wish to remain anonymous. This is a mass die-off on a level that hasn't been seen in a very, very long time. Outside of drought, I don't know of a die-off that has been this significant, said Dr. Neil McCann, the Director of Conservation at UK-based charity National Park Rescue. So there is an outbreak of bird flu around the world as well. The first one we're going to look at is in Senegal. Senegal has reported an outbreak of the highly pathogenic H5N1 bird flu on a poultry farm, the World Organization for Animal Health, or OIE, said on Thursday. The outbreak, which occurred in the Thies region east of the capital of Dakar, has killed 58,000 birds in the 100,000 strong flock, with the remaining animal culled said the OIE, citing a report from Singal's Veterinary Services. The Daily Sabah states Hungary's Food Safety Authority, NEBIH, ordered the slaughter of 101,000 chickens on Thursday because of a bird flu outbreak, it said on its website. The slaughter of the birds was ordered at a single egg producing farm in central Hungary with a 10-kilometer observation buffer zone set around the farm, and international partners are informed of the decision, the authority said. A series of bird flu outbreaks have been reported on farms in Germany, France, Lithuania, and elsewhere in Europe in recent weeks, with wild birds suspected to be spreading the disease. Dozens of dead seagulls in Ireland, and this was published just recently on January 14th of 2021, so like 2 days ago. And it states a highly pathogenic strain of the bird flu virus is currently in circulation, according to the Department of Agriculture. The department was responding to reports of significant numbers of dead birds discovered around the state, including dozens of seagulls observed on Sandy Mount Strand in recent days. The strain A1, H5N8 has been detected in 18 wild bird species across 8 counties, in Ireland. Limerick, Monaghan, Wicklow, Mayo, Cork, Wexford, Louth, and Kildare. Species affected include peregrine falcon, mute swan, curlew, whooper swan, cormorant, and barnacle goose. Japan bird flu. In Chiba, the Chiba prefectural government said Monday it had confirmed an outbreak of bird flu thought to involve a highly pathogenic strain of this disease at an egg-laying chicken farm in the city of Isami. The incident is the second recent outbreak of bird flu in Chiba, which in December became the first prefecture in eastern Japan to report an incidence of the viral infection this winter after cases spread in western Japan. The prefectural government plans to slaughter all of about 1,145,000 chickens at the farm, the largest number ever in a single outbreak in the nation. And again, that was published in December of this, last month. Hundreds of gray whales are dying out, and this was January 11th, 2020. Gray whales are continuing to wash up on Pacific coast beaches in what officials are calling an unusual mortality event. As of December 2020, an estimate of 386 gray whales were stranded on the coast from Mexico to Canada, according to NOAA data released recently. So this one was updated just recently. The numbers signify a trend over the past 2 years that's seen the massive creature die off in troubling numbers. By comparison, in 2019, 214 whales were found stranded. The number of dead whales is likely much higher, as only about 3.9 to 13% of gray whales that die in a year are found on land, observed, and reported. The numbers are troubling to scientists who have yet to definitely determine the cause of the mortality event. Again, these are just a few of the recent examples of animals dying off. A YouTube channel that I do watch is one produced by a man named Jason A. He has many end time events and covers the entire world. And I do have a video on the birds falling out of the sky that was produced by him. If you would like to read it, it is on the ministry website, but I encourage you to go and put in Jason A in YouTube and watch his videos. He is also on Patreon and it is free to subscribe. But there are many people who are aware of these end time events, and it's time that you become aware of what is going on as well. We are in prophecy now, brothers and sisters, and the day of Abba Yah is near. Do not continue to ignore what is taking place, for as it was in the days of Noah, so too shall Yahushua return, and when he returns, so too shall Abba Yah, and restore heaven back on the earth as it once was before Adam and Eve listened to the fallen angel and fell from their appointed place and time. We were never to live like this, but it only takes one person to sin and cause destruction. And Abba Yah knew this, and he put fail-safes in there. But it's time for you to understand the prophecies of our times, for soon Abba Yah will return. Question is, are you ready? Let me read Hosea 4:1-6 again, just to make sure you understand this. Hear the word of the Lord, you children of Israel, for the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwells there shall languish, with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea shall also be taken away. Yet let no man strive nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priest. What priest is he talking about? He's talking about the unholy Pope of the unholy Roman Catholic Church. And therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet, again the unholy prophet, Pope of the unholy Roman Catholic Church, shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother church, the Roman Catholic religion. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. Do not continue to be destroyed for your lack of knowledge, brothers and sisters, when there are people out here doing the will of Abba Yah, in which he ordained them to do. And you can Google junk all day long and not learn anything. Why not take time to build your relationship with the one who matters, your creator, Abba Yah, the Lord God Almighty? Because when he returns, he's going to ask you why you didn't listen to those who are spreading the truth, and he's going to know immediately, because your hearts and minds is what he's already discerning and investigating. So don't think he doesn't know. What answer are you going to tell him when he returns and asks you these questions? That's what you need to be prepared for. The coming of the Lord God Almighty. And again, I don't know when he's coming, but you need to be ready as if he's coming right now. I pray every day for him to come now. But he tells me until the fullness of the Gentiles. So I just keep preaching that he comes until the fullness of the Gentiles, and whoever has eyes and ears to hear, hears and sees, because I see what time it is. Question is, do you? Question is, do you actually care? Because it's the first resurrection, brothers and sisters. Come the second resurrection, if you're not written in the book of life, it's going to be like you never existed. And that's sad to say, but that's the truth. So again, are you ready? Because the Lord is coming. And you need to be prepared.